up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, with burning daylight.
Howdy there. I'm Matt McKinley, and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, welcome back, Daylight Burners. Hope you all had a good week. It's Friday morning here in Western Nevada, and this is the Friggin Farm Ranch Report for March 13th. Well, we have got some cattle future talk. We got some drought updates, and then we got a pretty cool story to cap it all off. I got a few extra things I want to take a look at, but let's get into the market look. Live cattle and cash trade on Wednesday at the at the end of Wednesday. Live cattle futures averaged $1.97 lower across contracts. Bear market took control as outside markets turned sour. The cash fed cattle on Wednesday afternoon was out of Nebraska. We had 235 down $5. Dress delivered at 372 a hundredweight, down $8. The Western Corn Belt, the live cattle trading at 233 to 235, down 5 to 7. Southern Plains early trades at 235, limited volume down 2. The box beef choice cutout is at 396.70 on Wednesday afternoon, is up 203. Select cutout 389.25, up 248. The cutout gains show packer margins improving slightly despite futures pullback. Feeder cattle pressure on Wednesday, they averaged 519 lower. The feeder index was at 360.97 a hundredweight, down 383. It's tight credit, drought, and feed costs hitting placement decisions. On the grain side, corn's up 8 to 9 cents with resurgent oil prices and inflationary buying. Soybeans up 10 to 13 cents. Urea spiked $70 a ton, but it so 520 to 550 on the New Orleans barges. Phosphate's up 30 bucks a ton. Potash has been stable. The futures dripped, but the cutout drip. The futures dipped, but the cutout strength signals packers paying up. But it's mostly because of tight supplies. The fertilizer crush hits spring planters hard. We talked about that with with the fertilizer spike and the traffic jam in the Strait of Hormuz and the Iran conflict. It's driving a lot of shit here lately. All right. Yeah, so on the drought escalation, so Colorado's snowpack is sitting below 70% of average, with the drought 1 to drought 3 areas across the plains are expanding, heading into spring. And we're in El Nino. I forget what the SO. So it's ENSO. Let me double check on that. We'll be right back. All right, I'm getting better on my notes, on my script that I follow, but not really follow. Anyway, ENSO stands for El Nino Southern Oscillation. And so what that means is we're moving out of the La Nina cycle and into the El Nino cycle. But El Nino won't really fully take effect till this fall. So in the meantime, we're what's called a neutral southern oscillation. Historical data does show this is ripe for extremes on both ends. But more than anything, it just shows kind of unpredictability. So neutral years produce 3 of the 4 worst corn yield years since 1960. And so how they classify that is it's over 10% below the trend. So in 1960 and 1993, both were ENSO neutral years. And those were 2 of so it was 3 of the 4 worst years, but 2 of those years, 1960 and 1993, was a 15% drop in yield and a 12% drop in yield, respectively. But on the other hand, we've had 4 of the best 7 yields that we've ever had since 1960, and same thing, over 10% change. So in 1979, we had a 14% bumper crop, and in 2004, also an ENSO neutral year, we had a 12% bumper crop, so 12% above trend. Soybeans, very much on the same thing. One of the 4 worst years came in a neutral year in 1980 at a 18% loss, but 2 of the 4 best years also occurred in an ENSO neutral year, 1961 and 1994, with the increase of 16% and 13% respectively. What this means in the real time is that we could have a really dry year, and if that happens, hay prices could spike about 20 to 30%. If the dry pattern holds throughout the summer, that puts the cow-calf guys facing pressure to cull hard or use some supplemental feeds to get through. And as we've talked about with the fertilizer and the fuel costs, supplemental feeds are probably not going to be much cheaper. The biggest thing, though, is there's no predictability. So we could get just a ton of rain this spring and get some just incredible bumper crops, record type years, or we could have a real bad drought. We could have somewhere in between. We don't know. So if that sounds familiar, you must have been in agriculture for a little while, because yeah, that sounds about right. Could be wet, could be dry, could be somewhere in between, and we don't fucking know. So it's so I've been pointing out the AI talking points. So this is one of theirs. A neutral ENSO means we're flying blind. Could be the best grass in decades or the worst hay crisis since 93. Plan for pain, hope for rain. Kind of hokey there at the end, but all in all, not bad. Not a bad talking point. Solid work, Perplexity. There's some more on the historical extremes. There's some of the numbers. All right, beef production cut. We covered this already, but it's a real thing, and I'm still getting used to this daily format. So what I'm figuring out is when you do a daily show, you do rehash a lot of stuff if you're covering the same type of topics. Okay, so urea jumped $70 a ton. We covered that. New Orleans barges 520 to 550 a ton, up from 475. Phosphate's up $30 a ton. Potash is stable, but it's vulnerable. Jordan and the Jordan Israeli supply is at risk. Pretty much everything in the Middle East is at risk. And I know I might catch some flack from some of the real hardcore Trump people, but also the messaging has been very muddled. We're beating the hell out of them. We're way ahead of schedule, but yet they're still firing rockets. And I don't know, we're changing the regime. They got a new guy because we took out the old guy, but we're not at war. They're at war with us, but we're not at war with them. I'm not sure. But last I've heard, we're up to like 12 American soldiers, servicemen dead. We had another one die from injuries, I think. I'm not sure where at, but then we had a KC-130. It's kind of a transport plane, if I remember right. But it went down over Iraq. Not sure if it was shot down, if there was engine trouble, what the hell happened there. But there were 6 on board. I saw a headline that 4 of them didn't make it. So I'm hoping that's wrong and that they're all okay. But it sounds like we have a few more dead on that end, and that's not good. Prayers to their families, and bad deal. So all that being said, despite all, on top of all the human toll and bombs and all that nasty shit, our fertilizer is all tied up there in the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf and all. Yeah, it's all just all in limbo. So it's a 30-day lag from the Persian Gulf, and about a 3 to 4 week inland distribution. So if you were to order a load today, May 1st is like the absolute earliest delivery date for that. And the spring application window's closing fast. So we'll see how many acres we see get pulled out of corn and put into soybeans if the nitrogen's not there. And remember, the nitrogen was at historical highs before all this shit popped off, because this shit happened with the Russia-Ukraine war kicking off. Russia is a huge, and Ukraine both huge exporter of potash, if I remember right, and probably urea as well. But this fertilizer it's shooting up at the worst possible time. And if we don't see those deliveries come May, then yeah, a lot of acres of corn either don't get planted or and swap to beans, or you're going to see yields go way down. It's a little bit of a predicament, so let's hope that gets ironed out in the meantime. The USDA cuts beef production forecast. Again, we covered this a little bit. So beef production lowered on a slower than expected slaughter pace throughout early March. We've got heavier dressed weights to partially offset the the lack of cattle. So we got heavier cattle, so it means we need a few less of them, but there's still a hell of a lot less of them than there were before. Beef exports lowered for the first half of 2026 on reduced production schedule. Cattle prices forecasted higher because of the tight supplies. So even though we have had some people start retaining heifers to grow herd numbers, we still got a real small herd, smallest since the 70s, I believe, or the 80s. Fewer head, but we got heavier carcasses. Prices are climbing. It's not a great market, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. So it's a cautious cautious rebuild looks like, but it does look like a rebuild is coming. So it's a ways out. If you're in the cattle business, it takes a hot minute to get that cow bred, calf on the ground, calf weaned, calf grown, fed, finished out. It's about a 2.5 year process. So it takes a little bit of time. But with the El Nino cycle coming in, we should see some pretty good moisture this coming fall and winter, I would hope. And we'll see how that goes. On this day in history, it's kind of a shorter episode today, but I kind of like it. March 13th, 1988. The Great Blizzard of 88 peaks across the Northeast with 40 to 58 inches of snow, depending on the spot. Over 400 people died. The Midwest cattle, they did okay because they didn't get quite the snow. But it was a good way to show how people out in the middle of the country, affected by the same type of conditions, handled it better because they're just hardier people. And that's just science. Also, looking back through history and continuing on to today, a lot of people may not know about the rich history of cattle in Florida. Actually, the birthplace of the American cattle industry in the continental United States is the state of Florida, with the establishment of cattle herds going back to the 1500s. And to celebrate that, we've got the Great Florida Cattle Drive in 2026 in Okeechobee County. It's a 46-mile multi-day heritage trail ride led by cow boss Travis Brown. It's got 100 riders or more driving cattle across 15 ranches, reviving 19th century Florida cracker cowboy trails. This ride raises funds for land conservation as Florida ranches sell like hotcakes to developers. Another topic we talked about. It celebrates pre-dawn rides, swampy challenges, Florida cow culture nearly forgotten, and riders like lifelong horsewoman Ree are testing grit, dogs, ropes, and ropes replacing ATVs. So hats off to the Florida Crackers, and I'd like to. I've never been to the state of Florida, so I got my buddy Cliff Schatt down there that I kind of have an open invitation to go see him, and I need to just go ahead and take him up on that offer. He's I believe down by Ocala, so I may melt. It's here it's very humid down that way, and I'm kind of a desert creature, so I mean I could lose a lot of weight that way too. So maybe it's good if I get malaria while I'm down there. I hear there's malaria is kind of making a comeback down that part of the world. If I get malaria, and so then I'll get like extra sweaty, I should be looking real svelte by the time I leave. If I spend a week just getting wrecked by malaria and sweating my ass off, probably drop 20 pounds. And then I'll be in prime shape for next year's Great Florida Cattle Drive. Be kind of cool. Be pretty cool. Anyways, that's a pretty neat story. I'd kind of like to see that. There's a article I will put in the show notes. I'll put a link to it that that Perplexity pulled up for me, and it's for all the doom and gloom. Maybe I'll kind of end it on this note. And I've harped on this before as well, but bear with me. With all the doom and gloom coming with AI, and I share some of that doom and gloom. It's kind of horrifying, the prospect of some of it, but it's also when you apply it to your daily workflow, as they call it. Boy, it really does speed up your process. It really makes you a lot more efficient, and it frees you up to do some other stuff that AI hasn't figured out how to do yet. So, one of the cool things about Perplexity is it does cite its sources. So when it generates a list of stories for me to cover, I make sure to go and look through the stories that it pulled from. And this one in particular was, let me find it real quick, and I'll just pop it up on the screen. Okay, and so here's the story I found. Historic Cattle Drive shows beasts of burden used to build this nation. It's from Naples Daily News. A fellow named Chad Gillis wrote it, from the Fort Myers News and Press and Naples Daily News. Pretty cool story. Had some cool photos to go along with it, and I thought it was a neat little story. I guess they had their own breed of horse called the cracker breed, but as bigger breeds of cattle got introduced, they needed a bigger horse, so the cracker horse kind of fell by the wayside. I would assume there's still some around, kind of like the Morgan horse, but that's some of the stuff that I would that I should probably do a little bit of reading about some pretty cool history out of the state of Florida. So anyways, I think that's all I've got for you today. And I guess that as far as this week goes, that's what I got. So let me know if there's anything else you guys would like to hear about, any stories that I need to cover, any cool shout outs, or any of the on this day in history, what all that good stuff. Oh, I had one for the weekend as well. Let me find that before we go. Okay, so on this day in history, March 14th, Pi Day, in 1794, March 17th, March 14th, 1794. I'll try that one more time, see if I can get through it. On March 17th, 1794, Eli Whitney patented the cotton gin, received the U.S. patent for the cotton gin, and it's an invention that completely reshaped Southern agriculture and global cotton markets. And this is it's one of the things that spurred the Industrial Revolution in the United States and around the world, but the United States in particular, because let's face it, that's what we care about, because we're the best. Always have been, hopefully always will be. And for March 15th, we kick off National Agriculture Week this year. Runs from March 15th through the 21st, celebrating the ag industry's role in food, fiber, and rural jobs across the U.S. And to tie in with that, in 1933, the Agricultural Adjustment Act was a farm bill era law that started paying farmers to manage their supply and stabilize prices. It was one of the it was the first big foray in the agricultural subsidies in the United States, and well, it hasn't gone so well, if you ask me. But that's all I got for this week. So please let me know how you're enjoying this iteration of the Friggin Farm Ranch Report, and send any of your questions, comments, additions, stories, etc. to matt@burnin-daylight.com, or send me a DM on any of the social media platforms where I'm at: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I think that's all of them. Rumble. I'm on Rumble if you're a Rumbler. But other than that, please would love to hear your feedback. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll try to do a sports show later this week, and then hopefully we got another bull session coming this Sunday. I think we got it one lined up. But Burning Daylight is back in action, and hope to hear from you soon. So have a great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather if you got it, and if you don't, well, it's probably coming. So enjoy it when it gets here. On that note, move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Just together, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.